Anyways, welcome back to Black Bull Podcast. Today we got friend Ace Troy in the studio. How you doing?
Pretty good.
So just to run everyone by what you do, just do a quick little synopsis of you and your lifestyle and what you do.
I make mostly stencil-based pop art, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But I do multimedia stuff too. I do a lot of different stuff. I do acrylics. I do wood burning. I do
You do
stickers a little bit. It's kind of a pain, and it's not something I like doing in summer because it's hot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
geez.
you're like, I do it, but don't tell anyone I do it.
Well, I mean, it's cool, but also I like to get drunk, and playing with hot things in your hands while you're trying to maybe reach a level of intoxication is not always the very best plan.
Yeah, and you did, speaking of drunk, you did bring us beers and tequila, so cheers on that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Over the mixer, let's spill it.
Beautiful. You got some cool, you do, everything you do is like hardcore juxtaposition, it seems like.
Lately I think I've been doing a lot more of that.
Yeah, and it's really just straightforward, like this is half this and half this, or it's like half this, and then here's an element of this, an element of that, an element of that. I love how unapologetic it is. The juxtaposition, because we keep having people in here who are doing just juxtaposition art, and we had Primal Screaming with Friends in, and he does a lot of stuff like that. And I was kind of
Andre and I are good friends.
Awesome, cool.
We go back like 10 years.
Oh, nice, awesome.
He tattooed the inside of my mouth once.
What?
Actually.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's not there anymore, but yeah,
that's so awesome. That's hilarious.
Wait, what did he tattoo in your mouth?
It said FUX. We just thought it was funny. So I'm like holding my lip like this, and he had the two of his backs of his hands on my hands, and he's like all up in my face. We were in our friend's backyard, and they were like, Ace and Andre are holding hands and making out right now. And like we were trying not to laugh. It was weird. And then our other friend was like, Andre, can you like boil that needle and tattoo me? And we were like, those are some choices you probably shouldn't make, friend.
Oh my gosh,
That's awesome. Who else do you know? You know Walkface?
Mm-hmm.
And
we talk like every day.
And Citizen.
Just saw
such a
Citizen.
tight-knit community.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, I just started to.
I know Jessie too. I saw you guys had her on the show the other day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh,
Jesse's
that's
pretty
awesome.
rad.
That's awesome. I love how small the community is. I literally just like, I don't remember if you liked something that I posted or if I found you through other people or what, but I saw your artwork and I just know, I was like, I think he knows all the people we've had on the podcast. And
And I know a lot of people in Portland.
Yeah, and I loved your work. It's the kind of stuff that speaks to me a little bit more because I really like poppy stuff. I really like poppy stuff, and I like vibrant colors, and I love how you basically pick like one color and make that super saturated, and then kind of have everything else just a little bit less saturated. I don't know the terms for all this stuff. But
I don't either. I didn't go to school.
Basically, there's basically like one really saturated color, and then everything else is a little bit grayer around it. And I like that look a lot. It's really cool. It grabs my attention, but it's not overbearing. You know, it's not too loud, but you're still saying, "Hey, look at me." You know, but just you're not
It has a
screaming.
message to it.
Yeah,
I think that's most important. How would you say your style kind of came to be and manifested?
That's all right. Well, I started doing stencil art here in Portland when I was like 15 or 16. I had this girlfriend that I was really into, and she got into it with me, and we used to go, like, she lived up on Sandy and like 60, 70th, something like that, and we would go out painting at night. Like, I had all these really weird, very junior, like, methods to it, because there wasn't really a whole lot of, like, online community for that at that time. But I just remember, like, we'd go out with, like, our crappy-ass cans of Krylon, and we'd be, like, painting buildings, and, like, people would walk up on us, and we'd, like, hide our stuff, and they'd be like, "Are you guys doing that?" And we'd be like, "No." And they'd be like, "Well, it's pretty cool." And we'd be like, "Yeah, we totally did that. What's up?" And I don't know. It kind of, and I always said in high school that I wanted to be a pop artist, and my friends would make fun of me because then I would just like paint these really pornographic images, and they'd be like, "That's not pop art. Like, you're weird." And I was like, I don't
Kind of
know,
is.
whatever.
Kind of is. Porn is more mainstream than it's ever been.
Yeah,
for sure.
True,
Like sex work or whatever.
Right.
All that kind of shit.
sure.
For sure. Yeah.
But I mean, you know, in high school, you kind of just want to like push people's buttons, and like shock
Totally.
value is still important to you. You still have it. Like if you were trying to shock your parents in high school, by the time you're 30, you can be like, "Mom, I did shrooms and fucked a stripper last night," and she's like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I took a break from it for a while too. I moved to Oakland for a minute when I was 19, and I didn't really. That was like the only period of my life where I wasn't spray painting at all. I was actually working at a craft store at Michael's Crafts, and I got really into drawing and like studying sea life.
Yeah.
I don't know. My work's kind of taken a lot of like weird turns. I was doing this thing where I was only painting my friends, and I was adding like text to it for a while. I just kind of go through different phases, but I think like pop art is definitely something that I always come back to, and it's a constant, and it's just a thing that people respond to, and they respond to it very differently based on like age and just like background and like what TV you had when you were a kid, like what stuff you
Yeah.
saw.
You mentioned you had, when you first started, you had junior technique. What do you mean by that? And like, how has that changed?
I mean, I think that in the modern times now, like versus like circa 2004, like there's a lot more, like the internet is much bigger than it was even then. And there's a lot more of like an online community to kind of be like, how do I get out there and how do I do such and such thing? Like, I think YouTube did exist in 2004, but I don't think there were tutorials of like stenciling or spray painting or anything. I think it was mostly like weird.
Probably not back then. No.
No.
Not especially not at the quality that there is today.
No.
Not at
For
all.
the people who like are completely ignorant to all this stuff, like what would you say you did then that you wouldn't do now?
Well, I would say if you're under the age of 18, get all the crimes out of your system now because you get in real big person trouble later. But having an arrest under your belt's not horrible. But just do it
Just
when
an
it can
arrest is okay, but more than that, it can get to slippery
it can
slope
get
from there.
bad. It can get bad. But like, I wouldn't spray paint on the street as a person who's over the age of 18. So
Really?
if that's like not illegally, I mean, so I would say if that's something you want to do, like do it, but get it out of your system now. I'm not saying don't do it, but you know, I had a friend who got popped for it recently, and he's looking at like a class A is worse than a class C,
Whoa.
right? I
Yeah.
don't know. He's looking at like
Yeah,
almost a
pretty
felony over it, and like a
shit.
lot of fines and all this stuff.
Yeah, that God, because I remember we were talking to Citizen about this, and he says he's like, yeah, it really comes down to like the property that you damaged.
Right.
Though you got to pay for a replacement, but then there's also like if there's trespassing, like all these little things can add up.
Resisting
Yes,
arrest
or
and all
asinine. It was either asinine
Oh,
or
yeah, it was
citizen.
asinine,
Yeah,
yeah.
asinine was talking because he knew about some guys who got messed up, but they were like, especially if they have previous crimes or whatever,
Right.
and then
They'll just throw the book at
punishment's
you.
worse. Yeah, they will. They'll hit you with everything they possibly can, for sure.
So you don't go on the streets anymore. You don't go on
I
the
wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I threw like a 36 by 48 paste up on West Burnside last night,
Yeah.
but
Admitting
it's
to crimes.
different than. I mean, I put my real name on my crime, so whatever.
Yeah,
Just no
yeah.
one thinks that my name's real, which makes me feel weird and sad.
I felt weird asking you. I was like, what do I call you? I was like, I don't want to ask him if this is his real name because it just sounds insulting. Because it might be, but it might not. So I would say, what do I call you?
I
And you're
get
like,
asked that
you're
all
like,
the
you're
time.
like, Ace is my real name, bitch. I know what you're trying to ask, motherfucker. It's my real fucking name.
It's a cool name though. I like it.
I love it. No, it is good. Yeah. Yeah.
That's like that's a marker of like when my friends can always tell when somebody doesn't know me, but they walk up to me trying to act like they know me because they'll be like, "What's up, Troy?" And my friends are like,
Weird. No, the only reason I had the level of confidence I did approaching you via Instagram Messenger was that I just noticed that you seem to personally actually know at least 3 people or 4 or something like that that had come on here. So I was like, oh, he's perfect for plus I saw your art and it was perfect for what the kind of shit we usually promote. So I was like, okay, the art's badass. It totally fits in what we're doing. He grew up in Portland, and he knows everyone's been on the podcast. Yeah, so I figured it was you were a shoo-in.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. I'm one of the few that actually can claim Portland proper.
Mm-hmm.
Even like my good friend Chris Haberman, who he's like the prolific artist of the people who are like 15 years older than I am type thing. He curates a lot of venues around town.
What's his name one more time? I'm sorry.
Chris Haberman.
Chris Haberman.
Yeah. He what was that? I don't even know what I was saying anymore. Chris Haberman.
Portland native.
Oh, yeah. He was like, oh, I'm from Portland. I'm like, you're from Milwaukee? Don't lie.
Yeah, that's obnoxious. I don't understand why people... it's obnoxious to me that people feel that they need to claim it. That they need to say they're from Portland.
Yeah.
Like it's cool or whatever. It's bothersome. It's like just say you're from where you're from. When people ask me where I'm from, I say like I'm from here. Technically I was born in California. I moved here when I was 7 months old.
Right.
But it's like I'm from here. Like that counts.
Yeah.
But I always throw in I'm like look, I'm technically a Californian. Yeah. Like I technically am. I'm not going to deny that.
Get the hell out of my state.
I love California. These guys were actually. He was born in Washington. You were born here, right?
No, I was born in California.
Oh shit! None of us are from Oregon, but we all. When did you move here?
Like when I was single digits, not old.
Single digits. You moved here when you were 10. Cool. That was when we met. Yeah, and then but I've been here since the good old days. Since I was 7 months old. So I identify with the. I totally identify with the Portland natives, but I also welcome Californians, and I fucking love California.
Oh no, I love California.
I love
still.
California.
People are like, I hate Californians. And I'm
I
like,
don't get it.
Why? Do you hate
Yeah.
people who don't leave the house in their fucking pajamas?
Yeah.
'Cause I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if people
Sure.
I don't know if people directly hate Californians, but I think they just hate how it like the gentrification idea. They hate how
They definitely hate
things
the
get
idea of
more
gentrification.
expensive, like the
Yeah.
overpopulation. How like right now I-5 is being. Are they widening that?
I don't know what
They're doing. They're definitely doing something to increase the traffic flow.
I mean,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
rerouted by construction twice just coming here on foot from 10 blocks away. Like, it's everywhere.
It really is, and you gotta just know how to maneuver. I mean, I go to work at the most oddball times now. Like I get up so early, try to beat
Just to
all the
avoid all that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because you're on
just-
the east side going to the west side.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah. So it kind of sucks, but
Is that bad in the morning? I feel like
It's
I'm always
bad right
going
now.
against traffic.
I leave. I get on the road around 6:30 a.m.
Right now,
It's all right then.
That's horrible.
the main connection from the west and the east side is shut down. So
Which-
that's
what-
why 84 and I-5.
well, 84 is kind of always a nightmare.
Right, but they closed it, so it's even worse.
Right, and
they closed
Burnside's
the,
down to
the
3
bridge
lanes.
connection,
Other things.
so it's even worse. Anyways, that is making commutes way. What were we talking about before that?
I don't know.
Native Portlanders,
Native Portlanders,
and the
yeah.
idea of
Oh, yeah.
gentrification.
Yeah, the idea of gentrification.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I just think there is like no money in Portland at all, and people from California are coming here and plugging money into it, and it sucks, but it's necessary because Portland doesn't understand how to deal with economics at all.
That's
No.
very true.
Not just
There's a
Portland, but
plus side.
Oregon.
There is a
Oregon's
plus side.
economics is horrible. Yeah, they're so desperate for money. They spend money horribly, and then they do like these really shady, quiet things to like kind of steal money from other people. Like, so if you live in Portland and you work in Washington, you
Right.
got to pay income tax.
Right.
If you work in Washington, but then if you live in Washington but come to Oregon to work, you still got to pay the income tax, even though there's no income tax. There's not that big of an income tax in Washington.
Right.
So Oregon will take the tax from you, that income tax from you, no matter what. They're just doubling down on it.
Oh,
which
yeah.
doesn't seem like it should be legal at all. That's there. You see what I'm saying? They're
Yeah,
taking like
yeah.
other people. They're taking other states' income tax money for themselves, and they still can't afford anything.
Well, we
Like-
don't have sales tax, so.
they
But that's what
They're
but
trying to, like,
we have
double
higher
down.
property tax.
We do.
The higher property tax makes up for the sales tax, and we have higher income
But
tax.
doesn't
So if higher
anyone in this
income
room
tax.
own
Sorry,
property, though? Did any of you?
Have income tax?
No, own property in
no,
Oregon.
but I know people who do.
I don't know.
I know, like, I'll
Yeah,
sit
no,
and
I
like
don't know
bitch
property.
about taxes, but I
We're artists, dude.
don't do that.
No, but our
We don't own
income tax is higher though than
Right.
than a lot of places for sure.
Well, with me, I'm just like, prove I made the money, bitch. It was in cash.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. That's why, and that's one of the cool things about being an artist and being a freelancer is sometimes you can kind of
A lot of people like to keep it above board, but like I just feel like entrepreneurs are like more heavily penalized for being independent from
no
a
question.
corporation, which is such bullshit.
Yes.
Like I'm doing exactly what the American dream is. I'm not sucking off like the corporate teat.
Dude,
I'm making something of myself, and then I'm gonna be like fiscally punished for that. That is bullshit.
Yeah, it
Dude,
is
the
bullshit.
taxes that I pay at Black Bull are just like outlandish sometimes. I'm like, I calculate what it pulls away, and it's like, are you kidding me?
That's why celebrities complain sometimes because they're like, look, I'm paying 50% taxes. I'm paying 50% tax, and they literally are. And you're like, yeah, fuck you, because it's 16 million, 50%. That's still 8 million. So fuck you. But but the more freelance, that shit kind of happens all the time. But at the same time, I don't agree with a lot of the subsidies that like it's fucked up because the huge corporations get all the tax cuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if you get big enough, then they're like, okay, you beat the tax cuts. But if you're small and you really need the money, they're like, nope, pay more taxes, suck our dick. Like it's really shitty. You know.
Oh, jeez. So aside from taxes, what else are you
Dealing with in life? You got any death going on? Let's talk about death now.
No. I mean, for
Who's
real,
died?
like how do you? We always talk about like how do you start your day? How do you get inspired? Like you as a street artist, it's different than a traditional artist. You know, how do you go about that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of since it's summer right now. I'm kind of in a phase where, I mean, I'm kind of known as like a more hermity than some of the other people, I guess. Like people are always kind of surprised when I like show up to meetups and stuff.
That Citizen was saying that that's kind of how he is and Wokeface is, or like you're the recluse of the recluses.
I don't know. I mean, okay, like I went years and years without ever meeting Vox Romana, and we just met like within the last.
Who's that? We don't.
You guys know like RX and Scam and stuff. He's like,
God, we gotta get him on.
No, we don't. Sorry, Vox Romana.
Vox Romana, Scam, RX Skulls. Like I would say those have been like three of the major players like in the sticker slap up wheat paste game for a long time. And they've all taken trips internationally together and done stuff abroad. But Vox is like another person who does who's like very heavily stencil oriented. I mean, all of them are, but I would say Vox is makes more stencils maybe than RX and Scam in like a year.
And once you met them, things kind of escalated from there.
I'm just saying like some of the people who I would consider like more of like the main players, I don't see out as much. I mean, and I would consider like Citizen and Wokeface also to be like main players in the sticker game, the street art game, the paste up game, whatever. But I feel like both of them maybe go to more meetups than me. Like they give me shit sometimes about just like, well, you never come out and like we never see you, and I'm like, I don't know.
The thing about Wokeface is she's become very almost mainstream.
Oh no, she's
pushing it for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no,
which is awesome.
I have this collab I've been wanting to do with her. That's a shirt that has my character as Jim Jones, and then her Wokeface Kool-Aid, and a bunch of dead people with like the cult of woke underneath, because her followers are just like, oh my God, we love you, and blah, 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 blah. And like, it's awesome, but it also is like funny to me. And I, of course, would like take it to a super dark place.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it. She has like the most approachable style out of anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's really easy to accept her style and to like her style. So when you mix it with people who are more like satire in a way, I like seeing that.
Well,
I like seeing where it goes.
The funny thing about Wokeface was, well, she was telling me about like kind of like the origin story of her, like first like seeing street art and being like, okay, this is actually an approachable thing and I can do it. And it was this like wood up I had done, which is like a wood cut out of I have this character with like a bomb for a head reading a newspaper that says these are dangerous times. And it was the first time that RX Skulls and I had actually ever gone out and put up art together, and we put stuff up by the the Belmont Library that's on 39th. There was like a big spot that was just full of art back then. And Wokeface was like, I saw that thing and I was like, I could do this. And then she ran with it. The first collab piece we did was a collab piece, like, on the Dangerous Times thing. I changed the angle of it so she could do one side of the paper and I could do the other. And she added the third eye to it and stuff. And it was just like, I don't know. It was cool. Like, really felt like I wasn't accepted by the street art community for a really long time, especially because, like, as much as I do street art, like, I'm probably one of the more or most prolific artists, like, in Portland. Like, I have like at least 5 or 6 or 7 places or more that I'm showing, like, constantly, and I make a lot of pieces every year, like, probably like definitely over 500.
Good for you, man.
Damn,
Good for you.
Awesome,
That's
man.
awesome. But that means that you're doing 2 a day almost.
At least, dude.
Yeah, no, that's
I
awesome.
Bust my ass.
Good for you, man.
And that's tough though. I mean,
That is.
the idea of just concept generation at that level, that's really hard to compete with.
So you feel like that level of prolific production has hindered you from connecting with the street art community?
I mean, I used to feel that way more, but I also kind of always have had this, like, idea that people don't like me just because I grew up in an environment where literally everyone I went to school with was really fucked up and really mean to me, like, every single day.
Oh, so you're saying you're an artist?
Yeah. Like, I had actually, like, 0 friends. Like, I don't know, I think we all kind of come from that background of, like, being the weird kid, but, like,
As an artist,
100%. Yeah.
I wonder if it's just like, being friends is almost just finding a connection with someone. And I think when you're an artist, you realize that you have so much internal space that you need to explore.
Mhm.
And, you find your friendships in those moments that you connect with other people, but ultimately you need to come back to yourself and explore inside yourself. And that's why you're chained to this activity for the rest of your life.
Right.
Yeah, you just connect to that
Yeah.
form of communication.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the easiest way, or at least like a solution.
Yeah.
Right, and like,
Absolutely.
I've learned a lot through just like talking with other artists about their childhood experiences. Like Wokeface and I had a moment where I was talking about this person that was all like, because the funny thing is, like, everyone who was really fucked up to me all through school now is like, oh, we're friends and we're buddy now that you're like kind of
Congratulations.
famous, and I'm like,
Post Malone, congratulations. Pretty much.
right. Like, I didn't go to my high school tenure, and everyone was like, oh, why didn't you come? And I was like, because you guys are a bunch of fucking assholes. I mean, I didn't say that, but I was like, I still don't want to share breathing space with
Yeah, right.
most of you.
Right.
Or like, we had like a neutral relationship, and I don't care. I didn't care about high school then. I don't care about high school now.
Yeah.
But I was like talking to Woke one day, and she was like, oh yeah, this girl that used to be super mean and fucked up to me in school, like, I purposely went to this college to get away from the town that I grew up in, and this girl went there, and she acted like we were cool, but then I found out that she used to like go home and cry every night about how mean she felt like she had to be to people, and I was like,
What?
Holy
yeah, I know.
shit.
I was like,
What the
what?
oh my
but
God.
like, I was like, okay, maybe like, I mean, I never had the experience of being like the popular mean girl, obviously, so I don't know what the hell that was like, but like,
That's a crazy idea that she almost like felt obligated to hold up that persona based on her looks.
Dude, I think a lot of people, especially who come from like maybe rich families or whatever,
Right.
feel like they have an obligation to uphold this bitchy attitude or
Right.
shitty attitude a lot of the time, because that's what is projected on them growing up, and that's, who they're around. Like, this is who I am. I'm this dick who
Right.
holds unreasonably high standards for no reason and have no benefit to anybody.
I've definitely met people who I used to work at. I bartended at a nightclub, and I encountered the douchiest people
I'm sure.
I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
But there was
I like
there
how
were
you won't
there
say
were
what club it is.
yeah, I know. There were a couple.
I've got a couple ideas. There's not a lot of nightclubs in
yeah.
Portland.
Well, no, it wasn't even in Portland. But like,
Oh,
there were
okay.
a couple people who I saw outside the club, and I talked to them, and we had more. I set all that shit aside. Everything that I knew about them
Right.
from the club, I set that all
Right.
aside. I was like, listen, I'll hear this guy out, or I'll hear this girl out. And every time I was like, why? You're actually really nice. You're actually a good person.
Oh, yeah.
Why did you act like such an asshole every time you went out to the club? They never had a good response.
Yeah, no, there was actually there is a particular person who I've actually known her since I was like 8, which I didn't really realize until recently when my friends was like, "Oh yeah, I don't remember she was on our like co-ed soccer team," and I was like, "What? Okay." But she works at a place that I show art now, and like just hearing
Really?
her boss talk about like there was a night after my opening, like everyone was gone. Me and her boss were left there, like alone. She was like, "What was she like in high school?" And like, I was like, "I don't know about having this conversation," because
Oh,
like,
God.
she was like, she's telling me like, "Oh, she's such a sweet, shy, nice person," and I was like, "This is
Lies,
completely
lies,
juxtaposed to like what I know now." But I also realized that, you know, a lot of us aren't the same people we were in like middle school or whatever. And I think culture has kind of moved away from, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be in high school at this age, but I think culture has moved away from like, let's shame people and like be mean to them. Like as slowly as it's happening, I think it's coming more and more that way. Cause you look at like the generation that's in high school now and they're just kind of like, I love whoever I love and blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm not saying there aren't any homophobic teenagers out there, but I would say there's like a significant amount less, you know, like
Oh yeah,
no one really calls each other faggots anymore. Like that's come out of the,
Yeah.
you know,
that
like-
was when that honestly started leaving the realm of okay when we were in high school,
Right.
like at the end of it,
Yes.
you know.
Mhm.
yeah, because
Yeah.
people were actually becoming proud of being queer or in some way,
Yep. Right.
and it
Yep.
was a known thing, and they weren't hiding it anymore.
Yep. Yeah, that started right around when we were juniors or seniors or whatever. At least like being able, like saying gay as a
right.
derogative term was not okay by then. By the time we graduated, for sure.
And my
Totally
friend
not
was
cool.
saying like the kids are saying that again as like that's cool, and I was like,
It's-
I don't believe that, and I haven't heard that.
Yeah,
So
I don't think it ever completely died. It just became way less okay. There's been people saying it since then. People
well,
still
it's
say
just
that.
like that Louis C.K. bit where he talks about. He's like, I don't think it's. I'm not calling someone gay when I call someone a faggot. I just think it's like if you're an asshole, you're being a faggot. You know what I mean? Then that was like his justification.
But that's the same thing. It's the same. You're taking the word and using it in a different
And
way.
he just has. It's just one of those words that rolls off the tongue in such an offensive way.
Oh, yeah.
I
that
honestly-
people are drawn to it, no matter what the meaning is.
Totally, absolutely, and honestly, gay was the same thing because the sound of gay kind of gives off this vibe that's hard to portray with
Yeah.
another word.
Yeah.
Right.
But the problem is that, and comedian Todd Glass said this best. But the problem is that it's all you trying to put someone else down.
totally.
No matter what it
100%,
is,
yeah.
it's you trying to put someone else down, and you're just being a negative and a dick, and that's ultimately the part that you can't argue. 'Cause
Right.
It's like no, I'm not talking about gay people. It's like it doesn't matter. You're still just adding negativity to the world,
Right.
and I think that's why the kind of the argument for it that has no leg to stand on at the end of the day,
Right.
Because you're just bringing more negativity in the world. It doesn't matter if who you're attacking or not. You're attacking somebody, and that's just not something that we want to sustain.
Okay, but if you're an asshole, I'm always just playing devil's advocate. If you're
I
an
love it.
asshole,
I love it.
Where do you lie your insults? Like, where do you base them off of?
But why do you have to be an asshole? No one's has to be an asshole.
I hate assholes, but like, I feel like
Assholes have rights too. They need ways to insult people. We gotta let them.
let's just say like they fall on like you're an idiot. You know, like if they on people with low IQs for some reason,
Yeah.
people who are gay. You look stupid, like that's the most subjective idea ever.
It's more. It'd more be like your hair is bad.
Yeah, your hair. Yeah, your hair.
But
looks
that's still subjective.
It's
You
totally
have a
everything's
bad.
subjective.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But even calling someone gay is just like a state. Like even if they are, it's just a statement.
Oh yeah, it's just words.
It's like your shirt's
Yeah.
blue. It's like
Yeah, no.
Thank you for
totally.
noticing. Yeah,
oh,
totally.
okay, yeah.
I agree. And I think the people that understand that when that happens to them are very healthy well-adjusted people. You know, you get insulted and they're saying something that's true, but they're treating it like it's an insult.
Right.
You know,
But
and
that's
that-
kind of just like, I mean, I have a lot of conversations with people about like the inevitability of human drama. Like, cause it's in, although like the street art scene is like a pretty, I would say most of us are pretty supportive of each other. We like to see each other thriving and doing well. Like, I wouldn't say that's true of the entire art scene. There are, you know, we all struggle with our weird emotional like artist turmoil and like our existential crisis of like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And it doesn't matter how successful you get. Like, you still have those days where you're like, does this mean anything? What am I doing? You know, that's how we've lost people like Anthony Bourdain and Robin Williams and Kate Spade. Like, that's how people fall by the wayside. However irrational it might seem to someone else, like, there's always that like little self-doubty thing in the back of your head when you're a creative that's like, you should have gone to college, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you should be doing what your parents wanted you to do. Like, there's always that. And then within the scene, like, we all kind of go through cycles where we have a lot of stuff going on or we don't really have that much stuff going on. And even, like, if we're busy for 9 months out of the year, those other 3 months, we're like, oh my God, like, why did I choose to do this for a living? And people can get jealous and vicious and like, I mean, I've lost good friends over the years from whatever insecurity it is that they have about their work versus my work or whatever. And you know, even if you're not the person who treats it that way, like, at the end of the day, you have to see that like the people who stir the pot and the people who get pissed off, like, it's coming from a place of insecurity or jealousy. It's not a reflection on you and your work.
Well, we're in the art of putting yourself out there. Like,
Right.
that's our business. Like, I'm going to put my idea out there and my idea is going to get criticized. If you're an accountant, you do math, you crunch numbers, you follow algorithms or whatever it is. And that's
Right.
and that's a lot more forgivable because it's a calculation. Ours are calculated in our heads, but they're not calculated in society.
Is that more forgivable? I feel like
if you're
if
wrong,
you fuck
it's not.
up, then
Yeah.
like you can't use a calculator, and you shouldn't be an
if you're
accountant.
if you're an accountant and you're wrong, but you at least you have a formula to follow.
Right.
With our ideas, if you have a bad idea, you get like all society coming down on you and like raining hell and coming at you with pitchforks if they don't like your idea, which again is subjective.
Oh yeah, I've made some art that people were like, for example, so like the noose has like appeared in multiple. I mean, shit, I've got one on my shirt. There's one on my arm. I did like a series of a couple windows that had nooses on them. And there was a local place that I've shown with for like 10 years. And this woman came in and she was like, that's a symbol of like white supremacy. Like, you need to take that down. Whoa. And I wished that I had been there in that moment to just say, hey, look, like, you know, art is, it's subjective,
yeah.
right?
Totally.
It's like, art is subjective. So basically, what just happened is I showed you an ink blot and you said the N-word. So you're the racist.
Right.
Like, to most people, the noose represents like suicide, mental health problems, the end.
Totally.
Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And she took it to, she was probably a white lady with dreadlocks. She took
Yep.
it, she took
Oh
it
my
right
God.
to that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and it's like, okay, well, you have some internalized issue that's not my issue, but you're trying to put it onto me. I've done work with like, I don't know, people with like ball gags in their mouths. Like, people just get weird about shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, one of those people was Donald Trump. That was great. Kanye, which I still liked him at the time, and then all that TMZ stuff happened, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that anymore.
I see. I checked out with caring about Kanye a very long time
See,
ago.
most people did.
back when he was still making good music. I was like, fuck this guy. And it's funny, I'm dead serious. And it's funny that and then he like married Kim and all that
Oh,
shit.
no,
And
I
then you're
know.
like, whoa, what?
No.
Like he's doing so much work to stay relevant. I don't know how much of it's real or not, but he's still like in the limelight, like in the center of it constantly. And then he said this crazy shit and people are freaking out and they're like, oh no, I can't believe I love this guy for so long. And I'm kind of sitting here just like,
I don't
that,
think
like-
it's that calculated. I think the dude just has some mental health problems and like
No.
now
Oh, I'm not saying it is.
100%
I'm not saying it
he has
is.
some
Oh,
mental
he
health
definitely
problems.
does.
Yeah.
No,
Kim Kardashian
absolutely.
is driving him to the brink of insanity.
All the Kardashians are. They drive all their men crazy.
Rob Kardashian, rip.
Who's the basketball player husband guy? The one that like got found in the
the
no.
dad. Oh,
No.
you're talking about Chris?
Lamar Odom.
Lamar
one that got
Odom.
found
No,
in-
I was thinking about Kim's old guy, Chris.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't
I
know.
forget his last
there-
name. Can't remember his
Whatever.
last name.
He's irrelevant now.
He is
Lamar
irrelevant.
Odom
But
getting
dude, if
caught
you see
in a
it's-
whorehouse with Viagra and like how many grams of coke?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
insane.
I
But
don't
dude,
even
if
know
you
about
see-
that.
if you saw-
it sounds awesome.
Dude, it is awesome, dude. They both married basketball players.
Wait, is that the guy that makes the socks? One of them makes socks.
I think it's
don't know
Lamar
about
Odom.
the Kardashians.
I think it's
really.
they both married Kardashians. So Chris, I can't remember why, dude. I feel like
Kris
I'm
Jenner?
No. It's a basketball player. No, it's a basketball player. He. I think he married
the one
Kim.
that was on.
He dated Kim. I don't know if he married her, but he dated Kim. He was on the
Is
show.
that the guy from the Clippers that was like on Broad City and shit?
Chris Brown.
Nope.
No.
You
no,
thinking
no.
of you thinking of Blake Griffin?
Chris Farley.
I guess I am. Yeah. No, I don't.
Does
know
he have
who
red
this
hair?
guy is.
Does he have red hair?
Who? Blake Griffin?
The guy you're thinking of.
I mean, he's Blake Griffin.
Is Blake Griffin?
Anyway, look. Okay, so
Irrelevant.
there was two basketball players dated by the Kardashians. Both of them were on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and they both yelled at the Kardashians over practical thing. Like they both yelled at the Kardashians for being celebrities, basically, and not thinking practically about real life. And those are the two best parts of the show. One was when Kim was dating Chris or married Chris or whatever, and he was like, "You realize you're not going to be a celebrity for your entire life. Like eventually, you're not going to be hot, and then no one's going to give a shit about you, right?" And then she broke up with him. And then Lamar Odom was with Chloe.
Chloe, yeah.
And they're like checking out houses, and the house is like massive, and he's like, I don't really want to walk all the way from this end of the house to the other. Like I want to just be able to just like go where I want, like conveniently. There's no reason for two of us to have a space this big.
Yeah, what's she gonna do?
And then
Ride
and then he went and got fucked up with hookers and cocaine and all that shit. But
I mean, that's what
I
I
do
would
have to
do.
say we talk.
I don't want to buy this big house with you. I don't know how to break up
Right.
with you. And there's a TV camera crew following me around constantly. So I'll just look like an asshole.
For sure. But I also think it had to do with his diet because he ate candy constantly. And then we're
He's
always
a
talking
professional
about,
athlete. Who
I'm
cares
not
what he
blaming it on the
eats?
diet. We're always talking about healthy habits. Everyone who comes on here, we actually need to bring this as a good segue because we're always talking about healthy habits and like how that, like, look, I mean, you can see Alex, he's relatively healthy, but it does make a difference. It makes a huge difference. I used to do nothing. And then I was like, I should eat like kind of okay and like sort of exercise some of the time, a little bit, and
Right.
maybe educate myself semi-regularly. And like do a little yoga, a little meditation, like twice a month at least, like just a little bit of all of these nice, healthy things. And now I'm doing lots of productive stuff all the time.
You cut your hair.
I cut my hair for finally, like this is the day I cut my hair. Every person I've ever met was like, you look more attractive now. Objectively. And I was like,
you look
okay.
more attractive now.
Thank you,
Objectively, though.
Alex. Alex hasn't seen me until
I haven't seen him for
recently.
a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been
Looks
weird.
good, yeah.
When I saw him today, I was like, whoa. I haven't seen this beautiful man for weeks. I haven't been in awe of this for weeks.
It's like when you got
No,
those
but-
new glasses. I was like,
Yeah.
man, you finally did it. You
Yeah,
got new glasses.
yeah.
Finally.
It was amazing. I had this like tall blonde German beautiful lady working at the glasses place. It was like, why are you here? And anyways,
working at the
she
glasses
was
place.
she was
I
like
thought that was
His old
going in a much
glasses
better
were
spot.
like his old glasses
Cracked
were
and-
like Ralphie's from Christmas Story, like just fucking cracked in 5 places.
Yeah.
Like, how are you wearing those?
She takes one look at me and she's like, "These are the glasses for you." And she hands me these teal glasses, and they're like big and kind of buggy. And I was like, "No, I look too much like a nerd." And I looked at all the other glasses, and I was just like, I don't know. I'm gonna go with my gut and trust her. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I'll trust you.
You
I'll
said they're
get these.
teal?
Yeah, they're teal. And she was trying to match my eyes. Apparently.
you put them on. You heard like bass music in the background. Like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. This is the
No, I put them on, and then again, it was the same thing. Just got constant compliments from, and like only from attractive women.
Oh, yeah, no,
And
it's-
I was like, okay,
No, it's good.
okay,
It's good to trust what attractive women say.
definitely, yeah.
That's
that was
how
a
I
good
learned
lesson.
to dress. You know?
There you go. No, that's true.
I dated women in retail when I was in my like early/late teens, and they were like, "So you dress like garbage."
Oh no. Where was this at, if I might ask?
I was here.
Like what kind of a store? Oh, like,
I mean, I dated some girls that worked at like Buffalo Exchange and like crap like that, and they would just like buy me clothes, and I was like, okay, like it's cool when girls buy you stuff because usually it's
the other way around.
Right.
Yeah.
I like presents too. Men like presents.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
Let it be
We
known.
like presents. But it was cool. I was like, okay, my girlfriend got me this. I like it. It looks good on me. But like, you have to actually care about your appearance, and I think that's part of like the whole like self-care thing.
Like,
everybody's got their
agree.
different like pieces and parts, and I find that I kind of go through cycles of like, okay, like I'm really making time for yoga. I went through a cycle where I was like super gym rat. Like by the end of the week, I'd spent like 18 waking hours in the gym. That's a full day out of 7 days.
Christ.
I
Bro,
looked
that's too
awesome. It was way too much. My knees got really messed up.
Dude, no, it is. It's bad for you, yeah.
I overdeveloped. There's 3 muscle groups in your leg. I overdeveloped 2. I went through like a period of time that like I couldn't really walk out of my house because my knees were so messed up. So like
Alex's rule. Look at Alex. Alex's rule is 30 minutes max or some shit like
No,
that.
I do an hour max, but like,
Hour
I try to
ma-
make it
but
worth
hour
it.
max,
But,
though,
like,
you know what I
I
mean?
just got a hernia, so like my intestines are coming out of my abdomen.
So even he's working out too much.
yeah, even I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know,
true though.
man.
I mean,
It's
there's
tricky.
ways to make it more efficient, and there's the thing that people always forget is what you put into your body, and just like the things you receive is just as
totally.
important as
It's
what you
huge.
how you actually act. So you can
true.
do half the work by what you allow in. If you think about it, if you like people who like legitimately don't eat shit, don't watch TV, you know, they actually cut 99% of that shit out of their life, look incredible. And they have this weird glow about them that's like almost makes you uncomfortable because you know you're a piece of shit. you're like, you have this glow I've never seen before, and you're like, well, there's way more life coming out of your skin. Fuck you.
right.
Yeah. But
Well, you know what I experience helps a lot too, and I know you're gonna object to this, but like if I cut back drinking a lot, I feel so much better.
No, I actually don't object to that. I just don't.
he's aware of it.
I just don't do it a ton.
But like sometimes on weekends I get like we'll get crazy. You know, like the guys will get together
Right.
and it'll just be like 10 hours of drinking.
Right.
And then on Monday it's just
We were
not
just done.
good.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't day drink anymore. That's out the window.
Right.
yeah.
Day drinking's never been good for anyone.
No.
Well, I used to be able to day drink and then go on to the night. Now I can only day drink and then like pass
Go
out
to
around.
sleep.
Yeah,
Right.
You know?
Which is healthier. That's what you should
It
be doing.
is. It
you
is.
feel
I
better
am
the next day.
extremely against naps still.
Really?
Yeah. I'm
See,
one of
I
those
love
people.
naps. I'm all about them.
I mean, like,
why?
it's fine when I can take. I think it's like that ingrained thing. It's probably the same reason that I'm a night owl, because I'm like, fuck you. I'm not gonna fucking go to bed when you said I should go to bed, mom and dad. And like, I've lived on my own I haven't lived with my parents. And
Wait.
Let's define naps though.
Yeah.
What's a nap?
a nap is anytime you fall asleep and you're not like going to sleep. So
I time myself 30 minutes tops. Most of the time it's 15-minute nap.
Wait, if it's over 30 minutes, you say it's not a nap?
No, then that's sleeping.
So if you're sleeping in the middle of the day, that's a nap. It doesn't matter if it's 3 hours.
Right, but like if I'll set
like a 3-hour nap.
I'll set a timer on my phone,
Right.
and I won't let it go over 30 minutes.
Oh,
because
I
then I
see.
get groggy and weird.
There's
but, like,
actually a lot of scientific evidence behind that about capping out at 30 minutes.
Oh, there
if you
is.
want to do shit after you sleep, if you're like, hey, I'm sleeping in the middle of the day, specifically to recharge. This is again assuming that you've had a like sort of normal sleep schedule recently,
Right.
You know, but it's like cap out at 30 minutes and then wake up and get back to it. There's actually a lot of the same evidence. I'm in school for psychology. There's the same evidence for. I'm not just yelling out random shit. I swear to God, I've been yelling out random shit this whole podcast. There's
Ben,
actually
your whole life.
I
you've been
read
yelling
on
out
Gawker about naps.
you're supposed to call me out for that. Whatever. Why do you think I started 2 podcasts? Because I love yelling shit. No, I love yelling. No. For real though. Not only should you cap your naps, you should cap your breaks at work. And if you don't, so there's 2 ways to take breaks at work. There's a ton of science behind this. Go ahead and look it up. Google it. I don't know what to Google, but Google it. If you take a sub 30-minute break, you should keep thinking about work on your break. Like take a break, don't do anything, but your head should still be like kind of work oriented. If you take a post 30-minute break, like an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, then you should check out.
Guided meditation. Do a guided meditation.
Yeah, then do a guided
thing.
meditation, eat your lunch and think about whatever, go for a bike ride. Then you can go ahead and forget about work. But if you do it for 30 minutes or less and you forget about work, you're going to be more stressed when you go back to work because it's not enough time to actually relax. And you're going to be like pulling all your energy away from work and then having to put it all back when you get to work.
Let me tell you what I do. If I'm doing like a really quick one, if I need just like a quick mental break from what I'm working on, I get on YouTube actually. And I have these people that I follow who are within the industry, like the film or photography industry. And I just watch some videos related to what I'm kind of working on, but not that same project.
That's
Maybe
awesome.
learning a new technique. And it's entertaining, it's educational, and I don't feel that bad about it because I can
because
still
you're not
apply
checking
it.
out.
I can apply it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have the same mindset as work. You're not
But-
completely changing it. You're not thinking like, what am I going to do at the gym? Or like, what am I going to drink tonight? Or what am I going to eat? You know, like.
But
You know
usually
what I'm
after
saying?
that, if I'm doing a long one, I have to do a guided meditation because there's so much on my mind.
Yeah.
I can't let it escape. I have that issue. Just so much stuff. Just like taking over. Like, no, you gotta think about this. You gotta think about your dog. You gotta think about what you're making tonight. You gotta think about that
Oh,
meal
yeah.
prep.
No,
And it's
it's-
like, oh my
Isn't
God.
that kind of how like what art can be a cure for sometimes though? Is like you just squash
Well,
that all
I
together on a
mean,
thing.
Like yes
Hopefully.
and no. There's like a common denominator that I've noticed among like any other full-time artists that I know, which is that all of us have issues with eating. And whether it's we don't stop work to eat or we starve ourselves all day because we're just like in the game and we don't want to
Yeah.
stop going, like all of us have, for the most part, like bad eating practices. Or
Totally.
I have a friend in Seattle who we are collectively Team Sandwich together. We both do like art of food sometimes. Hers specifically is all food. But I was like, do you ever just like not want to eat because you've been painting food all day and like you recognize you're hungry, but like nothing's appetizing? She's like, yes, totally, all the time. Looking at food all day somehow like messes up the thing in your brain, but also like
Whoa.
a lot of, I mean, like Wokeface and my friend Hello Kitska, both of them were like, you should try Soylent. I still don't really know what it is.
Oh, I've heard
It's-
I've heard mixed reviews on that.
Yeah, they like it a lot. I don't. I think it's just like it's like a proteiny
Kind of.
Yeah, no, it's a
non-dairy-
soy. It's basically a vegan shake that gives you everything that you should supposedly need to live.
You gotta be careful
Right.
with it though, as a male.
You what?
You gotta be careful with it.
Oh,
as a
yeah,
male.
no,
That's
for
soy
sure.
based
Actually,
stuff.
hey,
Well, everything
check
in
this
moderation.
out. Check this out. The estrogen thing, not really that real. There are problems with eating excess soy, but the boost of estrogen.
Well, there's also problems with like too much
There's
weed and
not a
estrogen.
ton of
That's
evidence
thing,
about
too.
that.
Well, some soy is good for your
Some's
prostate,
good.
actually.
But if you're going
Yeah.
overboard, if you're doing that with every meal, because like we know people who have done it
For
We
sure,
know
it's
people
definitely
who-
bad for you.
We know,
Oh,
people
But
yeah.
that's
who
not a
have
male
doctors-
female thing. That's a
That's a
human
everybody.
thing.
Might
Yep,
be.
it is.
Over too
It
much
is
weight,
everybody.
too much
But if
one
you're doing
thing.
it as a meal
Yeah.
replacement every day and we do an art, like I could see it getting.
It is
can get
bad.
out of hand.
It
Totally.
definitely can. See, the thing about soy that people don't realize is this is not real food. Like soybeans are a real thing, but by the time you eat it, it's essentially American cheese.
It's
like you're just
processed.
eating
It's super
American.
processed.
It's
Totally.
more processed than American cheese. You're eating plastic.
Eat real.
You're eating
food.
plastic.
Anything that comes in a box or
Yeah.
a bag, I'm immediately
Because
skeptical
soybeans by
about.
themselves can't be eaten. That's why they're so processed. They're-
Really?
Yeah,
I
yes.
didn't know that.
Raw soybeans. You can eat fermented soybeans. You can eat processed soybeans. You cannot eat raw soybeans. You get poisoned. So,
Well, but then again, so
You
are
get
like raw
poisoned?
potatoes.
yeah,
Raw potatoes,
it's- but
poison you.
raw beans will poison you too. Like just raw, like black beans.
I mean, I guess I've never like.
Well, you don't eat raw black
Well,
beans.
you can't. Aren't they like? You mean like totally uncooked? You can't
Completely
eat-
uncooked.
You can't eat that. You'd have
You
to
can
swallow it like a pill.
That's what I'm saying, and that's poisonous. That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
okay.
It's poisonous,
All right.
but
Kill our
soy. But
enemies.
I was
soy.
gonna say,
Black
if,
beans.
if I ever want to kill someone, swallow these magic
No,
beans.
it just gives you a stomach ache and makes you barf. That's it.
Yeah.
But
If I ever want to give someone a stomach ache and make
But
them barf.
soy is like straight fake. Like black beans, pinto beans, whatever. You boil them, then you eat them. Soybeans, you got to process the shit out of, and then you can eat
I
them.
didn't
Can you
not know
imagine
that.
just like dropping some
Yeah.
black beans in like your enemy's drinks?
Take that.
He's
Just like,
oh,
here's
my
my pill in my drinks. Like what?
my
like,
stomach is slightly uncomfortable.
no, that's just a bean. That's just a bean. Take a look.
Yeah, no,
I'll
that's
try it
yeah.
out.
So soy is like by the time you eat it, it's a fake food, and that's the thing that you can make it taste really good, but you can make anything taste really good if you fuck with it enough. You know, pretty much. I think.
Well, if you're going the soy route and you're not going to put cheese on it, like, I don't know.
That's not cheese, though.
I don't know. What?
I mean, that's not vegan.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you're just like filling it. Like, I think it's funny when people eat soy with cheese. It's like you're basically asking to die. Like, just eat the meat with the cheese. The meat's already dead. You didn't save the animal's life. The soy is going to hurt you just as much as the meat.
I love meat.
I do too.
I was vegan in high
I do
school.
too.
I did that for a while. I took some acid. Some stuff happened. I was vegan. And I was vegetarian before and after that. But eventually I was like, you know what? I like meat. Like, I'm not going to do this like fake meat buying bullcrap anymore. Like, I'm just going to eat meat.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Like,
I think if you like source it right, the guilt isn't really as there.
and like,
as
I
much
care
as-
about animals and shit. And I know what kind of fucked up stuff goes down. I don't drink milk. I still don't drink milk. I eat cheese and stuff, but like, I won't like buy a gallon of milk. And I used to love milk. I mean, who didn't love milk in the
Right.
90s? Got milk?
Yeah,
Right.
I used to have this really he was a really, I don't know if it really matters. He was a really Asian person. Like, he was half Chinese, half Japanese, and he would end every day drinking like the biggest glass of warm milk.
Warm?
And
No.
I don't know what it meant.
And then what? He would just like pass out on the
That
street.
used to be a
like,
thing, though.
yeah,
Warm milk was
yeah,
a thing. Warm
yeah.
milk was a thing. Like, oh, you want a glass of warm milk till you go to bed? I remember hearing that when I was a kid and being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, I
what
never-
kind
I
of
didn't
fucking
know. I never liked
psycho
that.
drinks warm
Yeah.
milk?
I'm
I took
murderer.
go to
It was
sleep.
cultural. I couldn't tell if it was a cultural
I think it
thing
is
or
a
not.
cultural thing because it's just so psychotic. And I get the milk.
Well, I mean, if you think about it,
Warm
it's
it up.
weird.
Get him the warm
I
milk.
like the kernels.
It's gonna make him sleepy. How is this gonna make him? Shut up, you're tired. Drink it.
Like making it hot makes tryptophan come out of it. I don't understand.
There's tryptophan in all food, pretty much.
Is there
There's
really?
yeah, because it's a protein. If
I was
food
like,
has
it's
protein
only
in
in
it, it's got
turkey.
tryptophan. That's one of the funniest things about tryptophan. Everyone's like, "Oh, turkey's got tryptophan in it." It's like, bro, everything with protein has tryptophan in it.
Shit.
You're eating so much fucking protein that you're exhausted.
How is
Have you
America
ever
so
ate that
wrong?
much food? America's wrong with
fucked it
everything.
up so
They're
much.
fucking about everything. No, it's true because name a time where you just kept eating till you couldn't
Yeah.
eat anymore that
It's-
you weren't tired.
People just use
yeah.
Thanksgiving as an excuse to like pass out on the couch and be a lazy piece of shit. It's like, no,
It's
dude.
the tryptophan.
No, you just ate
It's the
10 pounds of
tryptophan.
food. You ate too many mashed potatoes, you piece of shit. Get the hell out of here. Drink a coffee, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Exactly. And the problem is that we eat at like 4 o'clock, which is the worst time. It's
Yeah.
like you can either wait all day to eat, or you can eat and then eat when you're not hungry.
Yeah, it's
like
like,
that's
first
your
of all-
that's your option.
Yeah, you ate too much at 4 p.m. and you drank a gallon of Velveeta for some reason. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know
you're gonna
why.
be miserable
Yeah.
either way. You're either gonna eat dinner right after lunch, or you're gonna have breakfast at 3 and just be so starving that you stuff yourself till you're dead, and then blame tryptophan.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like you're gonna be like calling into work like, I can't come into work, bro. Tryptophan. And the guy, you have an educated boss who's like, tryptophan's in all food, and then
Yeah.
you're just like, you're fucked at that
He's like,
point.
dude, I could smell gravy through the phone. You shut the hell up. Okay, Art. We should have tequila on the podcast more often.
yeah,
we should.
totally.
That was great.
It makes it a lot more interesting.
That was way more interesting for sure.
So what do you got going on, like, upcoming with your art, your shows? I mean, you got a lot going on, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I've got my show at Goodfoot, which hangs through the end of what are we? July? Yeah. It hangs through like pretty much the end of July. And there's like well over 100 pieces there. That's usually like my biggest show of the year. So that's
Wow.
That's
Wait, that's
there.
going on right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long is it going till?
It goes until the last Tuesday of this month, whatever day that is. That's when they do the art switch out.
Stuff. It's like last Thursday, first Thursday, second Tuesday, third
There's
Wednesday.
first Friday, there's second Saturday. There's all these weird days that everybody picks. Nothing is concrete, and it doesn't matter what part of the city you're in or what city you are in. People are just like, this is the day we do stuff. Let's make it a thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the mentality behind that.
It's like
I would say.
the same with like days like National Hug a Dog Day, hug a blue dog.
Oh, yeah.
Every
Well,
single day is
National
a national fucking holiday.
Oh, I
at this
know,
point.
right?
Yeah.
National
It's a
Tequila
production.
Day happens like
Alright.
several times a year.
I love it.
I am sure. I mean, I used to
celebrate
work at a I used to work at the Conquistador over on Belmont,
Okay.
which is like it's all vegetarian, and we like I don't know have a bazillion flavors of margaritas. National Tequila Day, like because it'd be written on the calendar. It would happen definitely more than once a year, and I'd be like, I don't disagree with this, but it's not real.
But I see what you're up to. I see what the hell you're doing here.
For real. So we didn't really touch on this with you, and we touched on it with everyone. What healthy habits do you keep in check with? Mental or physical? Anything.
I mean, I kind of go through cycles,
Totally.
but
I feel that.
like it's definitely important to check in with yourself and to like have real conversations with, if you don't have access to therapy, it's important to have those conversations with your friends who are your support people and like allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to vocalize the issues that are making you feel weird about life. You gotta, at the end of the day, you just really have to knuckle down and talk about that stuff.
Totally. I agree with that, but I think you also need to get an unbiased opinion because, like, a therapist is a very unbiased opinion.
Totally.
Sometimes I have to get away from the friend group and talk to someone who's completely outside my life.
Right, and I completely agree with that, but I also recognize that not every person, especially people who are in their like early 20s or they're like 19 or whatever, they don't have the resources to access actual mental health care. And I mean, there are a lot of ways that you can find mental health care if that is your situation. Like if you go to some clinics or whatever, like there are ways to find, it's not somebody you're going to be able to see every week, but there are ways to find those resources. However, if you can't, you have to like find a way to talk about the stuff that is bogging you down. Because if you don't ever talk about it and you never verbalize it, it's just gonna keep you in that place.
Yeah, I think like it's also important to take everything with a grain of salt as well.
Absolutely.
No matter who you're talking to, because I'll hear some people who are very smart people
Totally.
say that like, oh, I think it was a terrible idea, and it's like, dude, the numbers show that this is not a terrible idea,
right,
and that this is working. So you're just not familiar with this industry and you just don't know. And I'll forgive you for that, but I'll take it for what it is and I'll move on to the next person. Like you can't let one opinion get to you.
And like very intelligent people have bad ideas suggested to them by other people and they just like go with them.
They don't know. They're not in the industry.
Like my dad is like insanely smart and he always likes to tell this story about his friend where he was like, his friend had this like blue car and this bird shit on it. And he was like, well, birds fly over your car because it looks like the ocean and they shit on it. And my dad said it as a joke, but this guy, like, for years was like, well, my car's blue and birds shit on it because it looks like... Birds don't have sphincters. They just shit randomly. Like, it's not...
Wow, that was news to me. I didn't know that.
No, birds do not have sphincters. They cannot control when they shit. No.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, like, but this guy who's like an intelligent...
As if they had that level of aim.
Right.
Where they're just like, I'm gonna be going 25 miles per hour over this car from 300 feet. It's gonna land at the,
totally.
like no fucking way.
They do the physics and shit. But like, that's a perfect example of like one person suggesting something in jest to a smart person and them have like taking it completely at face value and not with a grain of salt and being like, well, that's the way the world is. Like, no.
Yeah.
You learn a little bit more about bird sphincters.
Right.
For you.
Damn, that's intense.
All right. Well,
I think we covered
everything.
We're gonna end that on bird sphincters.
Yeah, bird sphincters. That's a great place to end.
Wait,
anything you want to plug or promote?
No, I don't know. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of shit all the time. For
any shows coming up in 2 weeks? 2-3 weeks, which will be 1 or 2 weeks from the time this podcast comes out.
We are gonna
1 or 2 weeks.
Me and my friend Anna Duval. You should check her out on Instagram.
Okay.
Her handle is. It looks like Anna, but she's German, so it's Anna. So it's Anna D's Nuts. We are throwing
ANA D's Nuts.
I love it. Nuts. We are throwing a joint. Opening at a gallery. Well, not a gallery. It's at a Slingshot, which is a little bit far out. It's on Foster on, I believe, the evening of August 4th. We're going to just throw this opening. We're both going to be out there. Slingshot's a great bar. It's It's like awesome drinks, but like at dive bar prices. Anna does like amazing work that's in, if you guys have ever been to Momo's over by Virginia Cafe, it's downtown. Not Momo's, but Momo's. It's like,
yes.
Yeah, so
is
she-
it on Broadway?
it's on 10th, I think.
Okay, something like that.
So
yeah.
there's all these paintings of like beautiful women in there that are cutting
Yeah.
resin. She did all of those.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So she's gonna be on one wall at Slingshot, and I'll be on the other wall. And it's kind of rare that I actually throw an opening party.
Yeah.
But we're gonna throw one. We're gonna have one. We're both gonna be there. Everything's gonna be cash and carry. There's pinball. There's pool. There's a heated smoking porch. Not that you need heat in this weather, but you know.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll definitely link that in the description of this. Everybody better read that description. And what's your Instagram handle?
At Ace Troy.
Anything else?
AceTroy.com. I don't know.
AceTroy.com.
Yeah, reach out to me
Totally.
if you. I don't know. I'm just trying to paint shit all summer. So
Awesome, man.
He's
Well,
good. He's quick.
It was a pleasure having you on. We'll have to bring you back.
oh yeah, I'm down.
And on that note, whoever stole my motorcycle, I'm still looking for you.
Holy shit. Did you still have found him?
No,
Oh,
I'm looking.
Did
at
you get the insurance money?
Not yet.
Well, fuck. All right. Don't steal motorcycles.
Don't
Check
steal-
out Ace Troy's artwork. We love you guys.
Black Will Podcast out.
Thanks for checking in. Peace out.